Let's start in a restorative back bend. We're going to do a fair amount of core work today. So we'll maybe come back and revisit this pose. Take your 1 or 2 blocks. Let me show you 2 blocks. I like to start one on the flat setting, one behind the head. So this is one way to start. I was going to save this for next week's practice, but we haven't done this in a while. Restorative fish pose. A nice back bend. So you can start in restorative fish pose with 1 block behind the shoulder blades on the low or the medium setting and 1 block behind your head. And it's a pretty big lift through the chest, but not huge. Or if you only want to work with 1 block and go a little deeper out of the gate, you take the 1 block behind the shoulder blades and you interlace your hands behind your head for support, and you start to allow your head to drop back. So this gets a little bit deeper into the chest and the armpit muscles. It can be challenging for the neck if it's dropping your head too far back. And I'm keeping my knees bent, which minimizes the lower back bend happening, but you could take your feet together and your knees wide to start to open the hips, or even lengthen your legs all the way down. So if it's too deep to do the 1 block, for sure do the 2 blocks. So elevating your head will keep the back bend out of the throat and the neck. And as you begin to settle into the back bend, breathe into the space between your 2 collarbones. So in the middle of the upper chest, the 2 collarbones actually join and hook onto your sternum, which is one of the strongest bone-to-bone connections in your body. And I like to imagine that I'm breathing into the middle of the collarbones, and then as I inhale, that I'm stretching my collarbones out wide towards the outer shoulders. And there's a moment there at the top of the inhale where you can sort of pause and feel the expansion of the chest. And you can exhale out of your nose, out of your mouth, and let it go. Now, once you've got the sense of the collarbones expanding, also take your breath into the armpits and the sides of your rib cage. So as you inhale, think of breathing just below the armpits into the outer ribs, and they're flaring to the sides of the room. Don't overdo it. Don't work so hard that you feel tension in the neck, but find that deeper inhale and that movement in the outer ribs. Little pause, feeling the fullness, and then an exhale out of your nose or out of your mouth. And then in the back of your lower ribs, inhaling into the back of the rib cage, filling up the whole upper back, middle back, lower back portion where the ribs are. And holding that open for a moment as you exhale, letting go. So there's a sense of creating a 3-dimensional breath, that the inhale is not just in the front of your chest, but the sides of the ribs, and then the back of the ribs behind your shoulder blades into your spine and all the way down into your sort of kidney area where your lower rib cage hovers. Take about 3 more really big inhales, focusing on expansion of your chest. Great. And then go ahead and bring your knees in if they're out. Press your hands down and just come straight up for a moment or roll to the side. Move one of your blocks out of your way and then keep your other block as you lie back down. Bring your block the skinny way between your legs. Somewhere comfortable. And this is a really small movement pattern. So this is not the way we normally practice anything like this. I'm doing something slightly different. We're going to roll the butt under so your lower back is pressing into the mat. Not so much that you feel your lower back grip, but enough that it feels like your lower back is making contact with the mat. I could say tuck your tailbone under. Usually when we tuck the tailbone under, we go a little too far with that idea. So just think lower back towards the mat. And then you want to consciously squeeze the block with your legs. So I'm firming my legs. You could be squeezing a pillow or something else. I'm firming my legs so that I use my inner thighs to lift my hips and then lower back down. So we're just going to do that a few times. It's not that only your inner thighs are working. It's just that we want to engage the inner thighs, which will automatically engage more of your pelvic floor and some deep core muscles. So we're just going to lift and lower like that about 3 more times, making sure that the low back is making contact with the mat when you come down. So it's a very low bridge pose. And then hold this low bridge pose, squeeze your legs in again, press your feet down, and then begin to explore bringing your hips up a little higher. Now at some point you'll probably untuck the butt slightly. To come all the way up, you have to give up that little bit of the butt tucking under feeling and then bring your shoulder blades together or towards one another and do the action, we practiced it last week quite a bit, of your lower shoulder blades moving in and your upper shoulder blades moving out, which could feel like the middle of your back engaging and then the top of your shoulders or outer shoulders reaching. So if it doesn't make sense to you to move from your shoulder blades, think a little more mid back in, upper back, right by the neck, upper back broad. And we'll take about 5 breaths. Let the chin and the neck feel soft, so no gripping here. And then roll back down. Retuck the butt a little bit so the low back is making contact. Exhale, lift your body off of the mat. Reach your hands forward, chin slightly in. You can look up, but sometimes I find even just that little lift starts to really creep into my neck. So I'm going to look towards my navel, and this is really for a warm-up. Squeeze your knees in and then pulse it. Up, up. So I'm keeping my shoulder blades off the mat, and this is more of a rounded spine. Good. And pulsing. Keep your pulses small, so you're staying up. For 8, 7, squeeze a block. Good. Hold up as high as you can. Reach your right leg forward and flex your foot. Lower down. Reach your left leg forward and flex the foot. Squeeze the block in. Lower down, roll down. Make contact with your butt. So roll the hips back down. Lift your hips up. Don't lift your hips up all the way, so not the full bridge, that lower bridge pose. Squeeze your legs in and then reach your right leg forward. Don't lose the block or the pillow or whatever you're holding between your legs. Good. Put your right foot down, take a moment, breathe. I certainly started using my shoulders. Relax, squeeze the block in, press into your right foot and reach your left leg long. Good. Lower the foot, lift your hips higher, draw your shoulder blades together. More specifically, think lower shoulder blades in, upper shoulder blades out. Wiggle your chin around a little bit. Just make sure that you're not over gripping in the neck. Hug the block in. Reach your right leg forward. Lower. Reach your left leg forward. Lower your foot. Good. Lift your hips a little higher. Now lift your heels. Squeeze the block between your knees. Reach your right leg forward. Last one, I promise. Lower your right foot. Keep the heels lifted. Left leg forward. Fantastic. Lower your butt. Place your block flat setting right outside your right hip. Place the block flat setting right outside the right hip. Good. Take your right leg to the sky. I just want it there for the future. Hold the back of your right leg easy. Don't worry about how high up you come here. Flex your right foot. Pull your toes towards your face, but also spread your toes. And then make the inner right thigh feel a little longer. You can also engage around your right knee. Good. Upper body's really relaxed. Let your left knee fall open. Let your right leg fall open. The block is there to kind of support you. So I have my right leg straight open like straddle, and my left knee is dropping open like Supta Baddha Konasana. And then the block is supporting me. I'm using my hand to keep the leg from going too far away, but I've got that block right at my thigh, giving me that little extra support. And we'll just only be here for about 5 breaths. Bring your leg back up through center. Point your left knee up too. Hug your right knee into your armpit. And then slide the block in such a way that you can really press your right thigh into the block. Now I'm just holding the back of my right knee, but you absolutely could be holding your right foot. Just something comfortable with your upper body. And press the thigh, your right thigh, into the block, straight down. And then imagine that you could move the block away from you. So when you push your leg into your block, push the block away from you. It's not going to move, but find that action. Good. Keep your leg where it is. Reach your arms through. Lift up. Squeeze your right knee as close to your right shoulder as you can. Your left knee can kind of drop open as a counterbalance. Come on back down. Release. Move your block to your left hip. Take your left leg to the sky. Flex your foot and spread your toes. So hamstring stretch to start, soft and easy. Pull your toes towards your face so that we work into the calf as well as the hamstring. So your hamstring and your calf are connected. If you stretch the hamstrings a lot without working into the calf, you often will overload the upper hamstring by the butt. And that's why sometimes yogis get that pulling around the buttocks, because we tend to be overstretching just parts of the hamstring and not the whole banana. Breathe here. Let your leg fall to the left. Let your right knee fall to the right as a counterbalance. The block is helping you, but you're using your left hand also. And letting the thighs open up. So we did those leg hugging in things so that we could do this here, letting the thighs move out and open. Keep reaching through the inseam of your leg. So make sure that you're not just sort of just hanging out. Bring everything back up. Draw your left knee down towards your left armpit. and into your own block. And if you didn't have a block, imagine what it would feel like to press your leg into the earth. And you can hold the back of your knee or your foot. And as you push your leg down, then also try to pull your leg out, as though you're going to bring your leg into tree pose or warrior two. So the knee is still bent. And then you'll climb your body inside your leg, drop your right knee open, reach your arms forward, and squeeze your left leg into your left arm. Breathe. Come all the way down. Hug both knees into your chest. Draw both knees out to your armpits, flex your feet, and bring your heels together. Knees in, heels together, and then imagine that you're pulling your knees apart. Reach your hands towards your ankles, flex your feet, tuck your butt under, and squeeze your knees into your shoulders. Breathe. Lie down. Twist to the left. Easy twist. Make sure that you're breathing all the way into the right side of your chest. So every time you're in a twist, think of inhaling into the opposite side and expanding the ribs and the lungs, which will help open up some of those postural muscles that pull us forward when we're sitting a lot. Exhale your way, knees to the right. So even in a simple twist here, you activate yourself more by consciously filling up all sides of the chest and the ribs with an inhale. And as you exhale, you can think of rooting the back of your shoulder down, not so much to pull it down, but to keep exposing the chest and the throat for a deeper stretch. There's a short muscle called pec minor in the chest that really responds more to long-held passive stretching. And even though it's a short muscle, it's powerful, and it is one of the muscles that, if it's tight, will pull you forward the opposite way. And then turning into your side, come up to a seat, cross-legged, let's say right in front of left. Right leg in front of left. Reach your left arm out, take your right arm up and over. Draw your right ribs to the right. Draw your left ribs to the left. Pull your left hand in. Draw right ribs to the right. Draw left ribs to the left. Pull your left hand in. Now roll your left shoulder away from your ear. As you pull your left hand in and reach your ribs, notice how it goes a little deeper. Lengthen up. Exhale, twist to the left. Lift your chest and look back over your left shoulder. If that feels too cranky on your neck, then look forward and over your right shoulder, which will still open the neck without being such a deep twist. Rising up, keep the cross of your legs, lift, bring your fingertips out, lift your toes up. Keep the cross of your legs. So I'm pressing my legs out, I'm squeezing my ankles in. If I want to go deeper, I'm going to bring my arms forward, push my hands forward, and now I'll squeeze my knees towards my armpits. You'll be more rounded here. Once you've got knees and arms connected, press your arms into your knees and your knees into your arms and lift your chest. Good. Uncross your legs, hold your ankles or your feet. Do a seated happy baby. Draw your knees back, lift your chest up. Lift your chest up more. Come more to the front of your sitting bones. Good, good, good. And then cross your left leg in front of your right leg. Inhale, left arm to the sky. Stretch. Left ribs move to the left. Right ribs move to the right. Right hand pulls back in. So find that push-pull to deepen the core aspect of this posture. Rising up, twist to the right, exhale, either looking back over your right shoulder or a little softer looking forward over your left shoulder. Inhale, rise up. Reach your hands out, squeeze your ankles together, lean back enough to lift your toes up. Pull your knees apart. Next piece, reach your arms forward, flex. Squeeze your knees into your arms, and then push your arms into your knees to lift your chest up. Holding your ankles or your feet, transition, bring your knees to your armpits. Roll a little bit more forward, keep your chest lifted. Exhale, release. Turn to one side so that your feet are flat. Bring your block between your knees. Please. Reach your arms forward. Inhale, roll to your lower back. Good. Lift your legs off of the mat. Put your feet down, hold your thighs, roll up. Draw your knees into your chest, hold your legs. Lift your chest up, relax your shoulders. Stay right here or straighten your legs. Bend your knees, hold your legs or reach your arms forward. Squeeze the block, stay right here or straighten your legs. Lower, move the block out of your way. Lean back so that your fingers are somewhat pointing towards your hips. Slunch, if that's a word, slunch something. We all did it instinctively. And then roll your shoulders back. Pull the front of your shoulders back and lift your chest into a back bend. Butt stays down. Okay, if you want a little more, lift your hips up. Walk your feet maybe a little wider and walk your hands a little wider, almost as wide as the mat. Keep your hips lifted. And then as you exhale, start to reach your butt back, come onto the heels of your feet and keep your butt lifted, come forward. Pull through, tabletop. Exhale, reach your hips back, straighten your legs, stay on your heels, keep your butt off of the mat, lean forward, come through. Exhale, reach it back. Maybe lift your right leg. Maybe lift your left leg. Come through tabletop. Put your butt down. Bring the soles of your feet together. Sit up tall. Inhale. Press the feet together. Pull your legs apart. And then you can also press the legs down, but really think in with your feet, out with your thighs, maybe a little bit down, and then lean forward into a pretty active Baddha Konasana. Now, I feel more, and I'm keeping my legs active, if I pull my hands back and I reach my chest forward. That's how I feel more. You might feel more by pushing your hands forward and pulling your belly in. Good. Keep it active, meaning I'm not working 100%, but I'm keeping the idea of pressing my feet together, reaching my thighs out, and then a little dash of knees down. Be careful if you feel knees down. If you feel your knees when you do knees down, probably best to just let that part go. Now relax, don't do the leg work, and come a little bit further forward for about 5 breaths. Good. Walk yourself up. Roll over your feet or just simply step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Imagine that you have the block between your legs. Squeeze your legs in, but pull your heels apart. Imagine that we have the block between the legs. These look great. Back of the neck should be long. Upper back should feel longer. Exhale, down dog. Push the floor away. Make your spine feel long. Really good. Hug the imaginary block between your legs. Pull your heels apart. Inhale, shift forward, plank. Block between the legs, heels apart, and then slowly bend your elbows, come all the way down. Good. Come onto your forearms. Press your forearms down and pull them back. Reach your heart forward. You can close your eyes if you like, but find the breath in the notch of your collarbones as you inhale. Think of expanding from the inner chest to the outer shoulders. Couple of breaths. Focus on your inhalations. Now see if you can get some breath around the armpits and the outer rib cage. And then breath into those low back ribs. Keep activating arms down, elbows back, chest forward. And then finally, lower shoulder blades together, upper shoulder blades moving apart. See if that gives you a little bit of a lift, nice, out of the posture. So you're actively reaching forward and away from the earth. Lower down. Move your hands back. Exhale through half or full plank. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, aim it to the outer edge of your left hand and then step your foot forward, lower your right knee down. Bring both of your hands to the inside of your left foot. Bow your body in. You're working on tucking your left arm underneath your left shin. Push your shin forward with your left arm. Your right knee can be down or lifted, your choice. Reach your left arm to the left. Reach your right arm to the right. Release your right hand, then your left hand. Lift your chest up. Walk your left foot to the left so that your hands are really under your shoulders. So make your hands a little wider. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Lift your left heel up. Squeeze your left knee to your left shoulder. Reach your right leg long. Maybe, just maybe, bring your right heel to your butt. Maybe shift forward and bend your elbows. Some of you can lift your right leg off of the mat. Release, downward facing. Inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it outside of your right foot, lower your left knee. Bend down, see how much of your right arm you can get underneath your right leg. Push your shoulder into your leg and your leg back into your shoulder. Stay here, or reach your left knee off the mat, reach your right arm to the right. Keep pushing shoulder and arm, left arm to the left. Release your hands back to the inside. Move your right foot to the right. Separate your hands so they're a little wider. Lift your right heel up. Squeeze your right knee into your right arm. Stay here. If you want a little bit more, practice bringing your right heel to your butt. And more still, bending elbows. Maybe lifting left leg. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower through chaturanga. Bring your hands up to the upper corners of your mat. So a little turned out with your hands, reach your legs back. Your elbows are kind of in still sphinx. Press your hands and elbows down, pull your elbows towards your rib cage, roll the front of your shoulders back, reach your chest forward. Find that three-dimensional breath. Chest, armpits, side ribs, back ribs. Great. Now, I can keep all of those ideas and also lift my elbows for seal pose, slightly deeper back bend. But it's also going to be more of a front body opener, more of a stretch. Lower down. Bring your right arm out to the right. Bring your left hand by your chest. Bend your left knee, and then bring your left foot behind your right foot to stretch the front of your shoulder. Let your right ear completely drop to the mat. Just a quick stretch here. Come back through center. Extend your left arm straight out by your shoulder. Bend your right knee. Flip your right foot behind your left leg. Right hand's just supporting you. Left arm is totally straight. Your left arm is straight back behind you, opening the front of your left shoulder. Good. Come on back through center, downward facing dog. And then come down to hands and knees. Take one. You may not need the block. I need the block, but you may not need this block for your forehead. Okay? You may not need it, but it's nice to use it and then decide if you don't want it. The second block it's coming between your feet. So I'm holding one block between my feet and I have the other block on the medium setting. All right. Exhale, straighten your legs with the block between your feet. Lift your heels up, bring the block with you. Walk your hands under your shoulders, wider than you think. Bend your knees and reach them into your armpits. Create a shelf with your arms by bending your elbows, and then you can place your forehead on that front block and practice lifting the second block between your feet up towards your butt. Pull your knees to your arms and your arms to your knees. Set the block down, standing forward fold, right as you are. Just right as you are, straighten everything out. The great thing about a pose like this and the last pose, Ekapada Kuninasana, is that whether we get into the full form of the pose or not, all the actions that we take to move in the direction are going to be very strengthening for the shoulders, for the arms, for the core. Okay, here we go. Exhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, move your knees towards your armpits, bend your elbows. You can be right here. Or shift forward, head to the block or not on the block, and practice lifting your block to your butt. Nice. Standing forward fold. Go ahead and step back, downward facing. Lower your knees, child's pose. Good. Come up to a seat. Have your blocks either set up the way you started practice with one on medium, one on low, or maybe you go medium for the shoulder blade block, high behind your head. We're not coming here yet. But just have these blocks ready. Sitting on your butt, hands face forward. And this is just a great, even if you don't lift your butt, roll your shoulders back, find the seated back bend. This is shoulder extension, so it's opening those muscles that pull us forward. It's a great way to tone your arms, reverse some of that tendency to slump in a posture, and work the muscles of your spine. So it's a great pose. It doesn't have to be hard, and you could hold this for a minute here with the butt down in a less challenging fashion, or you can lift your hips up again, which might be a little more challenging in terms of strength. It doesn't necessarily give you a whole lot more in terms of your posture. Make sure that the inner hand is rooted down. And then reversing everything, reach your legs long. Exhale, seated forward fold. So here's another place to make sure that you're working into your calves by pressing your thighs down as you pull your feet back. Even if your knees don't totally straighten out, you'll still be getting into the calves as well as to the hamstrings. Inhale, come all the way up. Bend your knees. Exhale, lie back on the blocks. You have to wiggle around a little bit to find the right placement. Now, you could also lose the block behind the head and do the one where you support your head with your hands and you're dropping back over the block. And you might feel your body a little more receptive to this deeper back bend now that we've done much more opening up. Knees can be bent, Baddha Konasana, or legs long. Now you can decide to stay in this posture to close practice, or if you prefer to come up off of the blocks, so if you want a longer pose, stay there. Otherwise, come off of the blocks and twist knees to the left. As you twist knees left, still think of rolling your right shoulder sort of up and back. So you're exposing all of that inside of the chest area, armpit area. Might be nice to cactus your right arm, which will help you find that idea. Exhale your way to second side. Cactus the left arm, so you expose the left armpit, the outer corners of your left shoulder in the front, which is also where the lats and the tricep and the pec all kind of come together. Exhale your way back through center. Hug your knees to your chest, your armpits, or even hold both of your feet for happy baby. Press your buttocks down, press your hips down. And then let it all go into Shavasana. As you're resting, take a moment to actually congratulate yourself. Acknowledge how strong you've gotten from the practice, how much your body has changed, how much more resilient you are, and actually physically stronger. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth. Continue to rest in Shavasana, or if you'd prefer, turn to one side, take a moment, and then sit yourselves up. So while we're yogis and we're not supposed to celebrate victories or get all caught up in losses, we're supposed to have an even temperament. It is important to step back once in a while and acknowledge your progress. Acknowledge how far you've come, even if it's just as an encouragement to keep on the path. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Closing breath in. Cleansing breath out. Namaste.